The AEW TV deal is done. We're going to talk about that plus so much more. Oh my God, guys, pay-per-views finally coming to Max. It's going to be pretty damn crazy. And we're going to talk about it all right now on the Ango Show.
Yes.
All right, guys, just a quick reminder. The Ango Show goes live Monday through Friday on the channel at 12 p.m. Eastern. We talk about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, all the good stuff. We do some fantasy booking. We engage with the chat. If you guys aren't pulling up at 12 p.m. Eastern every single day, what are you doing with your life? Okay, let's kick things off with some very interesting news. Some canceled plans for Jey Uso. This came from Matt Camp. You guys remember Matt Camp from WWE's The Bump? Well, he shared some very interesting stuff on his show, The Wrestling Mat, and he basically said that there was initial plans for Jey Uso to challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. He revealed that Jay's potential victory over Gunther and a subsequent match against Jimmy Uso for the title at WrestleMania were also considered. This idea was discussed between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but eventually shifted to the Raw match, which, as we all know, Jey Uso did not win the Intercontinental Championship. This is extremely interesting to me for a variety of reasons, because now Jey Uso is going after Braun Breaker. Listen, I actually think WWE made the right call not to do this. Quite frankly, Jey Uso versus Gunther probably would have been a better match than Jimmy versus Jay. But also at the same time too, Jimmy versus Jay for the Intercontinental Championship would have been a big letdown, especially considering how great the title reign was for Gunther and everything that he did. I feel like WWE made the right decision here. I mean, if you just look at it from the perspective of what happened between Jimmy and Jey Uso, the match kind of falling flat, I think that's one way to justify why this was a good thing. Also, I think Sami Zayn being the one to take out Gunther, I'll be honest with you, I found that to be incredibly unpredictable. I did not think that to be the case, and it was the case. But the good thing is it was such a great match, and Sami winning was so unpredictable, and then it led to Sami eventually getting the belt and dropping it to Braun Breaker, which I ultimately felt like was the right course of action. But it is interesting hearing Matt Camp talk about this, because WWE obviously at one point wanted to capitalize off of Jey Uso's momentum. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I do have question marks in regards to his push, because I think he's talented, but I do think it's inevitable he ends up back in the bloodline. And I've said this before, I'm very curious to see how WWE does the dynamics of it, because this guy could be a singles champion in WWE, probably should be a singles champion in the WWE, but I think those ties to the bloodline are always... those are going to have some, those are going to be pretty damn important. So definitely interesting to see how that goes down. Guys, Wendy Choo attacked Jordynne Grace at WWE NXT this past week. Jordynne Grace had a great match with Sol Ruca until Wendy Choo and Rosemary got involved. Which, by the way, just a quick side note, how incredibly cool is it to see that Rosemary and Wendy Choo are coming together? There's vignettes. They're literally appearing on television together. A talent from WWE and NXT, you know, competing alongside somebody from TNA. I absolutely love it. But now, because of this, TNA has announced that Wendy Choo will be taking on Jordynne Grace this Friday at Victory Road, which is taking place in San Antonio. So Wendy Choo will, in fact, be making her debut in TNA. This is WWE extending their partnership with TNA. And honestly, I just want to talk about this for a quick second. And I'm sure I will have a lot to say about this on the Ango Show Live. So if you guys aren't watching that, you guys might want to tune in. But I'm super excited to see how this partnership is working. I think it's a lot better that TNA is working with NXT than TNA working with the main roster. And I think there's a lot of good reasons for that. But it's really cool to see how talent are crossing over, especially when one of the biggest issues with TNA is that they are not a live show and they have to pre-tape in advance. And I like the fact that they've been able to kind of figure this out in a way that works for both companies, but also the dynamics of this partnership are just super interesting. Watching Wendy Choo go up against Jordynne Grace, guys, I know Wendy Choo plays like this really over-the-top spooky character, but let me remind you, Karen Q on the indie scene, hell of a wrestler, right? And I look forward to seeing her go up against Jordynne Grace. And I love the fact that Jordynne Grace was the first, you know, it's the first time a TNA belt was defended in WWE NXT. Like, they're making strides. They're doing a lot of cool things. And most importantly for WWE, it's allowing them to do things that we don't typically see from them. And for TNA, we're seeing people show up on their show from WWE, but at the same time, we're seeing people from their show show up on WWE and actually look good. And I think that is one of the coolest parts about this. It doesn't feel like anybody is taking a big blow here. I think this is a very mutual and very like useful relationship. It's a talent share. And I really just want to see what happens long term. And to be honest with you guys, like Victory Road on TNA Plus, I mean, it's like, this is, how can you not get excited about a TNA event now when you literally don't know what's going to happen? There is so much unpredictability here. I got to give credit to the WWE. I got to give credit to the WWE because this is not the same WWE that I grew up watching. And this is a whole different company now. And it seems like it's just overall better for the wrestling industry. And obviously, as a longtime TNA fan and a longtime NXT fan, it's cool to see the synergies are there between both shows. And that brings us to Tony Khan and the new AEW TV deal. Andrew Zarian, who has been incredible to listen to, has mentioned that the exclusivity between Warner Bros. And AEW is now over. There is no exclusivity for one network. From the Warner Brothers Discovery side, the deal is now finished. There's no question that the deal is completed. Andrew Zarian even goes as far as saying that he believes the deal is officially signed. He feels 99.9% confident that AEW content will be on the Max streaming service and pay-per-views will go on Max. This is, I mean, really just good stuff, obviously. But look, let's talk about this for a second. Pay-per-views coming to Max long before AEW even had their TV deal announced. Years and years ago, I was talking about HBO Max and how the plan was to bring professional wrestling to it. And it's really crazy to see that AEW was the wrestling company actually come in and sign that deal with WBD. Well, at the time it was Warner Bros. Eventually they merged with Discovery. But now this is, I mean, look, this is great. We don't know the numbers just yet. Once we get the numbers, I'm sure we'll be talking about it. But the reality is this: AEW getting the deal done with Warner Bros. Discovery is exactly what needed to happen. Also for AEW, yeah, they're struggling a little bit. We can acknowledge that. It's going to take some work for them to rebound and get better viewership. But I think also being more accessible and getting better at marketing is important. And I think they're going to have to work a little bit harder on that. But if you have your pay-per-views on Max and you're somebody who subscribed to the service and you don't watch professional wrestling, this is like the perfect opportunity for you to become a fan. Now, obviously, it's up to AEW to provide compelling television, and that, of course, is subjective. But I do think there's a lot of benefits. And then, of course, you have to keep in mind AEW Shockwave coming to Fox Sports 1. What's going to happen with that? Are we going to get some more details on that? Obviously, a lot of interesting things are happening. This is the place to stay updated. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.